G'day, hi, and welcome. All right, look, I got my ladder just sitting there loose. Got the hatches open, slowly cleaning up in here, doing stuff on the deck, doing stuff down here. Even put in the bilge cover, so I'm not falling in there. Put my cushions on, everything. Look at how nice that looks. Oh, ooh, look at all those wires hanging down. Ah, Jesus, if there was something I could do just to, so they wouldn't keep falling down. I don't want to put them in there permanently, because if you do, then you can't work on. If you need to work on it, you can't. But I wonder. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. There. That's it. Little boat trick there for you. Those sponges are getting. You can see I cleaned up my rail here, but you can see the mice have been chewing at it. They're gonna have to get some new sponges. But yeah, if you got some boat wires hanging down, that's how you keep them up. Is you just use the sponges. That way you always have access to the wiring in an emergency, or if you just have to change it. You never want to make it so permanent that you just can't get in at it. So yeah, my sponges have been chewed away by little furry little bugger heads there. They were, I guess there was a couple of them in here all winter, I guess. To them this would be like a super palace. This is like being like the 16th chapel to them. Look at the ceiling in this place. It's called a cabin roof. But anyway, yeah, so I'm cleaning up slowly but surely. I'm gonna have to strip all this out, and over time, this is gonna be an ongoing project. But you can see there's some mildew on here and stuff like that. One thing, you see all my cushions are always straight up like this. And I did this whenever I'd leave the boat for, say, like a day or even a couple of days, and you didn't know if you're gonna be making it back during the week. Keep your cushions straight up and down. You can see that cushion there got a little bit of water coming in. I can see some, show you something here, which I'm preparing to take care of this problem. You can see there's a little bit of water here. It seeps in here, and then it, runs off. Everything looks good on I sealed these up about 10 years ago, and they're still good. I'm going to take everything out. The stuff I'm going to use to seal everything on the deck, as soon as I can figure out how to get those railings off without damaging them. It's a 11 millimeter socket, but you can't get it into the hole. So I don't know if it's just the wood just sucked up enough water that it expanded enough that you can't get the socket in there. But whatever. I'm not going to worry about it until I got the stuff to seal the deck. So when I pull all the hardware off the deck and the railings, I can refinish everything all at once. But yeah, so if you got boat wires that are hanging down, don't permanently fast them in there with like zip ties and stuff like that, because if you have to work on it, those sponges you buy, I'll show you the sponges that are in there. Were kind of the type of sponges that are good to get in there, and you can go to a dollar store or someplace like that. Keep it cheap. It's nothing expensive. Maybe one that's about half this size. It's good to have. You can never have enough sponges like this on the boat. In fact, what I would recommend is a sponge in each bilge on each corner on the low side, because if it does leak in the boat, the sponge sucks it up and then it evaporates a lot quicker. During running time, somebody pointed this out to me last year. Reg, don't leave a sponge in your bilge, because your bilge pumps will suck up the possibility of chunks of the sponge or the sponge itself and clog it and whatever, and it won't do the job. Yes, that is true, but when you're around, no problem. But for the winter, I'd leave I always leave that. You can see my bilge is getting dried out a bit now. Where there was, for the first time in 10 years, there was actually water in this bilge. And just a little bit of water in that bilge did a lot of damage. Well, not a lot of damage. Nothing serious, but if you were to leave it long enough, yes, you would have a lot of damage. So, yeah, that's a little tip. I know the more experienced sailors know about it, but some of the newer sailors probably struggling with that. It's the quickest, easiest, most practical fix you could do. You might have to put 5-6 sponges per side, depending on how big your gun walls are. Don't you feel like you're in a rum barrel? I love this. This is a nice teak, but I got to clean it up a little bit more. I don't have to rip it all out to put it back in again, but I may have to refinish it and put it back in, because there's stains on there. You can see where some water probably leaked in somewhere. This side of the boat always seems pretty good. It's just my own leaks are there, but I'm starting to get a leak there on that one. So yeah, I want to rip up all the railings, do them all, get some butyl tape and go nuts. So that's my next mission. Tracking down all the supplies I need, getting the supplies ahead of time, whenever you're going to start a project on your boat, and I'll just end with this, it doesn't matter what it is. Assess it, figure it out, talk to other people before you go at it, do research on it. Even if it takes you an extra week, it's not procrastinating, because the thing is what people do is they buy a boat or whatever, like this boat I've had for a while, but they buy a boat and then they just start ripping things apart. And then sometimes when you rip things apart that you don't know what's on the other side, you end up making 10 times the work for yourself, or you take things apart that you can't find parts for. So assess it, see if you can find parts for it, and go from there. Yeah, major cleanup inside this boat. I haven't really cleaned this boat for 10 years. This is about as bad as it looks for 10 years of not cleaning it up. I've got nothing to complain about. So maybe I'll just get away with just a light teak oil in there or something like that. But I really want to get rid of the stains, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. So I'm going to have damp hot cloth. See if I can. That's a problem with when you do something like this where it's just a natural stain. It's porous enough that it still sucks on moisture, and if you got any sort of a leak, you end up with you can see like there's a run there, so that means there was water dripping around there somewhere. I don't know what that is, but anyway, but you get the idea. There's always a trade-off somewhere. So either you live with the stains, something that's super gorgeous but easily stained, or you nip it in the bud and you go with varnish. Varnish would look good in here too, be nice and bright, but I just like that soft, kind of makes me feel like I'm in a rum barrel, you know. Like, yeah, it's pretty good. I like the soft look, the satin finish. But that's me. Whatever whatever for yourself, you choose for yourself. But you can see like some of this stuff here. It's like almost like a mildew that builds up on it, and it makes it look like kind of cloudy. So yeah, these are long down the road projects. This is like the last stuff I'm going to do is the cosmetic stuff. Anyway, I'm going to leave that at that. I don't want to go on too long with this video, but just get some sponges. You can use the tie wraps to bundle all the wires together. But if you have to work on wiring, it's so easy just to pull the sponges out, find the wire you need, fix it, put it back in. Nice little tip. Sponges, they work great. You don't have wires constantly falling down while you're sailing. It's out of the way. It puts them up out of the way. All right, there you go.